So another founder in car, and of course by having your own company you have this as a source to bring in income and perhaps have some savings, and one day you will be able to retire, but that's just part of it. In my opinion, if you don't have the passion, you don't find pleasure, you don't get energy out of your work, you will lose an enormous amount of time by just doing something to gain access to money. And of course, you might have hobbies or other activities that you might like more. And I'm also all for it, even if it's very hard to just continue and grind it. But I would recommend that you make your job as satisfying as possible. It can be very hard, as long as it's satisfying and fun to you. And why? Because many people, they don't reach retirement. They will just die on an earlier age, or they reach retirement but they are unhealthy at that moment due to age, but also health. Could also be work-related health. So if you don't also enjoy the route instead of just the end point, you will be in big trouble, in my opinion. And that could be manageable, sure, but if you can enjoy the ride, like we are doing now, to the end point, and of course the end point can be very nice, but very often when people reach their end point, for example their goal, and they are there, they said, it wasn't exactly what I was expecting. And then they set another goal, etc., etc. So by that they are postponing happiness, and they also clinging happiness and that goal together, which is often not the real case, not reality. So I would rather have you enjoying the ride, and of course working to a goal is a good thing. I would be very much for that, but not cling your happiness to only that goal. Be happy also doing it and enjoy what you can. And of course, as I mentioned, there will be many things in your working life, but also in your personal life, that you don't really like, and you just have to work through. Sometimes it's not living, but just surviving. I understand that, and you should really go for it. Really man up and just do what you have to do. But if possible, enjoy the ride. And if you do so, you will be more successful, you will be more happy, and you will have a more fulfilling life. And also will not be mad at yourself that you wasted all those good years of your life just trying to grasp that one goal that you had that didn't satisfy you when you got there. Have a great day, keep grinding, bye bye. So another founder in car, and today we are going to talk about initial yield. And it could be gross initial yield, we call it in Dutch bruto aanvangrendement, also known as BAR, abbreviated. And you could also have net initial yield, which we call netto aanvangrendement, or NAR, abbreviated in Dutch. So what is initial yield? If you have an investment and it produces, for example in the first year, that hence the initial, and then you get, for example, some interest out of that investment, some return on that investment, other way to approach it. And that could be gross, so that would be the total return that you get, but it could also be net, and net is gross adjusted for also the costs that you have to make when you pursue that investment. So that being said, normally the net initial yield will be more relevant, because that's the real amount that you take home. But also gross initial yield can be interesting, especially if at the first few years you have some additional cash flow that is, for example, higher or even lower than normal, but you can adjust for that, and you know why that is, because you have, for example, you have to make some arrangement, you have to build some accommodations, or you have to put some services in place, and that are hampering you down. And then you know that once those additional hampering costs are mitigated, also your net initial yield or your net yield will rise. So it's good to calculate both if possible, and you can also compare them, different investment options with each other, instead of just saying, oh, for example, I like more the stock market, or I like more the real estate market. Now you can compare them more on a fundamental level, and can also see what the yields are. So for example, you might like one or the other more, but the yields could help you also take the financial aspect more into consideration. And also yields can vary. It could very well be that stocks have a higher maximum yield. This is a given, so to say. But it could be that real estate, for example, is a lot more stable. And then you can also look, what do you prefer? And perhaps you can also balance out the portfolio, that you have some high risk, for example, in stocks, but also some lower risk in real estate. And then if all goes miss on the stock market, you still have some yields from your real estate. But it could also be the other way around. When the real estate market is plummeting, you still have that stock portfolio working for you and yielding you interest. And with this balanced portfolio, you have quite a lot of stability, but also if there are some huge gains to be made, for example in the stock market, as I mentioned, you will get access to those gains as well. So that gives you a little bit of both. So it will not be a specific portfolio, so to say. The benefit of a specific portfolio could be, notwithstanding the drawbacks that I just mentioned, but the benefit could be that you have something that you really understand. That niche is your thing, and then you can also act very quickly upon that. Hope you liked this video, and if you do, please feel free to subscribe, like, comment, whatever. Have a great day. So another foundering car, and this time we are going to talk about the different approaches in investment, and especially in time. You have people that are really close on the market, for example in stocks, and they are day trading, so they have a very high level of management, almost to the micromanagement level, if not full-blown micromanagement. And you also have people that are on the complete opposite. They have a strategy of buying and holding. They buy something that has a decent cash flow, so it brings on some yield, some interest, so to say, on their investment, also directly, even without selling it. And they can hold it for the long run. So even if that market is plummeting, they will still hold on and collect their yield. The cash flow will be on par, and if it rises again, then they might sell. Whereas in the day trading, if the entire market is plummeting, then those could be affected in a bad way. But also day traders have made a way to approach this. They will, of course, they will sell when it's high, and they buy when it's low. So if the entire market is plummeting, those day traders will pump normally a lot more money into those markets at the first signs of a restoration, that they are again reliving and will revigorate, and then they buy low and they will take the big slope until the higher levels of value again. So it's not that one is better than the other. It will take a lot more management, of course, to be micromanaging. So day trading is an example of that. But you can also have higher yields if you would really like to. For me personally, I would never like to be so much involved and managing. I would rather have something that I can have more stable access to without all that management. I would rather have some management of life and doing the things that I really like. But it could be completely different for you. So that were some insights that I wanted to share. Have a great day. Bye bye.